get in touch 054-998-6996, not to spread fear and panic, but to actually provide useful information throughout the period. So this morning, we're going to hear different things. We're going to take you to the newspapers on the latest, because when the critical announcement was made, I'm sure some of you were asleep. It was around 10 p.m. when the president addressed the nation, and so we're going to give you that. We're going to remind you of the last major press briefing. That was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, involving Information Minister, Deputy Health Minister, Director of Public Health, Ghana Health Service. All of them addressed the media at the Information Ministry earlier in the day. There are some useful information to provide as well. Then we're going to speak to doctors and nurses about their readiness if there were going to be any escalations. We're going to take you to Legon as well, where one of the 6 people who have been identified, students of the University of Ghana, so far we are told over 60 contacts have been traced. The university is also now closed, because initially the Vice Chancellor had asked for students to stay home, but now the president has overridden that. All schools closed, social gatherings reduced to bare minimum. We're going to give you all the angles, but if you have information to provide or a question to ask, don't hesitate to call us or send us a WhatsApp 054-998-6996. We've also suspended all our outdoor events for the Heritage Month, including the Accra Music Expo slated for this Saturday and the next big one, which was Mogo. All right, so my name is Bernard Avila. I'm here with Kojo and Nathan. Gentlemen, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Bernard.
It's good to have you. I'm very well, thank you. So I'll be interspersing your stories with some audios, because some of the audio, some of the stuff the president said, I think people should hear for themselves. So maybe let me start with the president's address, because that was at 10 p.m., which is actually the news. So this is what the president said to the nation last night at 10 p.m.
Fellow Ghanaians, I've come into your homes again this evening to provide an update, as I promised, on the measures taken by government to combat the coronavirus pandemic. You may recall that on Wednesday, 12th March 2020, when I first spoke to you directly on this matter, I announced the first raft of enhanced measures taken in response to the pandemic. At the time, there had been no reported confirmed case of the coronavirus in Ghana. Since then, 6 confirmed cases have been announced, all of persons who recently traveled into the country. Advisories on how to manage the developments have also been announced by the Ministries of Health and Information. Public education is being intensified to ensure that citizens are well advised on preventive measures. Earlier today, Sunday, the 15th of March, 2020, I chaired a meeting of the Interministerial Committee on Coronavirus Response. After deliberations, I've decided, in the interest of public safety and the protection of our population, to review the public gathering advisories earlier announced as follows. Firstly, all public gatherings, including conferences, workshops, funerals, festivals, political rallies, sporting events, and religious events such as services in churches and mosques, have been suspended for the next 4 weeks. Private burials are permitted, but with limited numbers, not exceeding 25 in attendance. Secondly, all universities, senior high schools, and basic schools, i.e. public and private schools, will be closed Monday, 16th of March 2020, till further notice. The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Ministry of Communication, has been tasked to roll out distance learning programs. However, BECE and WASI candidates will be allowed to attend school to prepare for their examinations, but with the prescribed social distancing protocols. Thirdly, the Government of Ghana's travel advisory, issued earlier today, should be observed as announced. Fourthly, businesses and other workplaces can continue to operate, but should observe prescribed social distancing between patrons and staff. Fifthly, establishments such as supermarkets, shopping malls, restaurants, nightclubs, hotels and drinking spots should observe enhanced hygiene procedures by providing, amongst others, hand sanitizers, running water and soap for washing of hands. Sixthly, the Ministry of Transport should work with the transport unions and private and public transport operators to ensure enhanced hygienic conditions in all vehicles and terminals by providing, amongst others, hand sanitizers, running water, and soap for washing of hands. And seventhly, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development should coordinate with the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies measures to enhance conditions of hygiene in markets across the country. Additionally, as the experts conduct contact tracing, I appeal to all to cooperate with them to ensure that persons who have come into contact with positive cases are identified and supported. I've directed the Attorney General to submit immediately to Parliament emergency legislation in accordance with Article 21(4)(c) and (d) of the Constitution of the Republic to embody these measures. And I've further directed the Minister for Health to exercise his powers under Section 169 of the Public Health Act 2012, Act 851, by the immediate issuance of an executive instrument to govern the relevant profession. I call upon Parliament to support the executive in this national endeavor. As I said earlier, there's every need to observe prescribed social distancing and good personal hygiene to prevent community spread. We are determined to do whatever we can to prevent the spread of the virus and protect the population. All the measures that have been announced will be subject to constant review and enhancement if necessary. Fellow Ghanaians, these are not ordinary times. So let us all put our shoulders to the wheel, and I'm confident that together, by the grace of God, we shall overcome this challenge. May God bless us all and our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
So that was the president speaking last night. So clearly he's put out what we're supposed to do. There are other things we need to announce for you, including specific events that have been suspended. But the other issue was that at 1 o'clock there was a press briefing where 4 other cases were announced. So if you have that information, you can give that to us, and then we'll get into the stories. This story is, I have it here, 4 more cases of coronavirus confirmed in Ghana, and this is on citinewsroom.com. It says, this brings to 6 the total number of cases in the country. This was announced on Sunday by the government at a press briefing to update citizens on the outbreak. The government said 3 of the cases were recorded in Accra, while 1 was recorded in Obuasi. The Director of Public Health of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Bedusa Akodie, who provided updates on the country's cases, said the new cases were also imported into Ghana. He said 2 of the cases were confirmed on 13th March, which is Friday, while the other one was confirmed on 14th, which is Saturday. Dr. Sarkodie said on Friday, March 13, 2 more cases were confirmed as COVID-19. They were reported in 2 regions, one from Ashanti and the other in Greater Accra. The first is a 56-year-old man, a Ghanaian who returned from a trip to the UK on the 4th of March. He stayed in the UK for 10 days and came back. He developed symptoms on the 12th of March, which is Thursday, reported to a hospital in Obuasi. The case definition met the case of that of suspected COVID-19. Samples were taken and sent to Kumasi Center for Collaborative Research in Tropical Medicine, KCCR. And within a short period, the lab reported that this was another confirmed case of COVID-19. The second was a woman, a Ghanaian student. She traveled out to the USA, stayed there for about 10 days, came back on the 9th of March, and on the 13th of March started having symptoms. So 9th of March is Monday, I think.
Yeah.
13th of March, which is Friday, started having symptoms. Samples were taken to Noguchi on the 13th. That's the same day. They had a report from Noguchi that confirmed as another case of COVID-19. Both patients have been isolated and are being treated. So those are the two. Then Dr. Sarkodie announced that the two additional cases were of two Ghanaian males aged 42 and 41 who traveled into the country this month. Now, in terms of contact tracing, total of 151 contacts have been traced to the 4 individuals who have been confirmed with the novel coronavirus. For the first 4 cases, contact tracing has started, and he says that we have identified 2 contacts and all contacts are being traced. With case 2, the Norwegian, we have identified 107 contacts and we have started processing to follow up on 68 of them. We'll be in touch with the rest of them by close of day. Case 3 is a case of a student. For now, we've identified 12 contacts. We are still in the process to work assiduously to get more. And the last case, the case of a resident in Obuasi, we've identified 30 contacts, and the 30 contacts are being followed up on. Let me take you to what the man said again, to hear him for yourself.
There is a man called Seth. We have identified 2 contacts, and all the contacts are being treated. Case 2, the Norwegian, we have identified 107 contacts, and 68 of them we've started process to follow them up. The rest, in the close of today, you'll be in touch with them and support them with regards to their contact tracing. Case 3 is a student, and out of the various, for now, we have identified 12 contacts. We are still in the process to work assiduously to get more, and the last case, the 4th one, a place residence is Obuasi. Currently, we've identified 2 contacts, and all the 30 contacts are being followed.
All right, so that was Dr. Bedu Sarkodie. Guys, what else can you tell us by way of update?
I don't know if
Kojo, let me start with Kojo. Give me some other angles.
Well,
At least, these are the 2 latest stories.
these are the big angles for the coronavirus. So I think you've got it covered.
Good.
These are the big angles.
Let's do other
Government
stories.
is advising visitors against travel to Ghana.
Have you read the travel advisory, the new travel advisory?
Yes. Okay. So let me just.
Do you have it there? I have it here if you don't have it.
Now, as part of measures to deal with the coronavirus, the government has issued a travel advice to all potential visitors into Ghana. And the 6-point travel advisory, among other things, strongly discourages all travel into the country until further notice. Addressing the media in Accra yesterday, the Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Oponkroma, said the travel advice had become necessary in the wake of the confirmation of COVID-19. And he said, apart from government strongly discouraging all travels into the country, any traveler apart from Ghanaian citizens and persons with Ghana residence, persons who within the last 14 days had been to a country that had recorded at least 200 cases of COVID-19 would not be admitted into the country.
So that's the new travel advisory. Any country that has had more than 200 cases will not allow them into Ghana, except Ghanaian citizens and persons with Ghanaian residence permit. But these people would also go through some process before they are allowed in. Anything else for me?
I think the president mentioned the public gatherings.
Yes, let's move away. Let's do other stories quickly. We have 5 minutes.
Yeah, if you go up, it says up north. Sorry, it says CSM kills 18 in Upper West.
Let's have that.
That's quite troubling. Emmanuel Mode from WISE reporting that 18 cerebrospinal meningitis fatalities have been recorded in the Upper West region in the last 3 months. The fatalities are out of 137 suspected cases that were reported at the various health facilities across the 11 districts of the region. So that's coming, that's on page 3 of the daily
CSM,
graphic.
18
CSM,
cases.
Yes.
Now, let's go to page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. 4 perished, 21 injured in 2 separate crashes near Tichamante. Yes. Now, the story says 4 persons died and 21 others sustained injuries in 2 separate crashes at Obrejima and Bepose near Tichamante in the eastern region last Saturday. The dead, yet to be identified, have been sent to both the Suhum and Isawam government hospitals. Regarding the Bepose accident, personnel from the Ghana Police Service and the Ghana National Service were at the scene to rescue the victims and ensured free flow of traffic on the road.
Now, let me give you a story on power. Greco apologizes for widespread power outage on Saturday. On Saturday, in fact, I think on Saturday we had power of the whole day in certain parts of Accra and Kumasi. Now, the Ghana Grid Company has apologized for the power outages that hit parts of the country on Saturday, 14th March. Gridco attributed the blackout to a disturbance in its system. Now, this is the statement. The Ghana Grid Company wishes to inform the general public that at 8:53 p.m. on Saturday, March 14, a system disturbance on its 330 kV line led to some intermittent power outages in parts of the country. The Power Transmission Company explained in a statement. It said the affected areas included parts of Volta, Greater Accra, Eastern, Northern, and Ashanti regions. The company in the statement noted that power was restored to all the affected areas by 12:20 a.m. on Sunday, 15th March 2020. They apologized for any inconvenience caused and remain committed to the mandate of delivering reliable power supply. They added in a statement. Now, guys, anything else? There's a couple of stories on power and what do you call it? The fuel prices and other things happening. I don't know if you can just run through some stories for us quickly. For example, the Independent has
Yes.
the fuel price story.
It says fuel price to fall by 8%. That's on the page 2 of that paper. A former CEO of Ghana National Petroleum Commission (GNPC), Alex Mode, says the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo-led administration has bestowed massive historical damage on Ghana's oil and gas industry, a situation which could have far-reaching consequences on the Ghanaian economy. I don't know why that angle is being taken, but of course, the headline of that story says fuel prices to fall.
Well, what I have
8%.
here is that IES, because that's exactly at the bottom of the story. They later won't go to that. The IES is predicting a 5 to 8% drop in fuel prices from today's story on citybusinessnews.com. It says the Institute of Energy Security has predicted about 5 to 8% drop in the prices of fuel at the pump from Monday, 16th March, which is today. It follows the drop in the global crude oil price as well as the relative stability of the cedi, which are two of the main determinants of the prices for fuel at the pump.
Let me take you to the Volta Lake. Maritime Authority removes 10,000 tree stumps on 30-kilometer dam by Kudo Copper crossings. Now, the story says communities living in and around the Oti regional capital, Dambai, can now heave a sigh of relief as tree stumps on the Oti River, which made movement across the region a perilous endeavor, are being removed. And we've been told that about 10,000 have been removed so far. This is important because a lot of people die on the Volta Lake because tree stumps sometimes cause boats to capsize.
Okay.
If you go to page 2 of the Daily Statesman, it says 1.4 billion cedis for water projects this year. The government is expected to disburse a whopping 1.4 billion cedis this year as part of its commitment to providing access to potable water across the country. The projects, which will be spearheaded by the Ghana Water Company Limited, are for both expansion and water supply, and this will be secured through loans and grants. Now, documents available to the Daily Statesman reveal that the projects, which are 12 in number, will be carried out across all regions of the country.
All right, let's now do a few more stories by way of announcement. Citi FM, Citi TV suspend 2020 Mogo and other outdoor events. This is a release we sent out yesterday. Management of Citi FM, Citi TV regret to announce the suspension of all station outdoor events until further notice. This is in line with the global COVID-19 pandemic and recent confirmed cases in Ghana. The affected events are the Accra Music Expo, which was slated for 21st March, and Music of Ghanaian Origin Concert, which was slated for 28th March. We'll announce new dates for the events as the situation improves. Refunds for tickets in terms of those purchased for Mogo will be made available to patrons. Now, if you go into the graphic, there's a story about what churches are doing to enhance awareness about COVID-19. But there's another one on Bone landfill site poses danger to residents. I think you should find that story.
Yes,
for me.
that story is in almost all the papers.
Yes, I need that story because
last week.
Yes, last week it started and it's growing gradually, but this bone issue is
Della Russell Oklu says there is a looming environmental disaster at Tong in the Tong Katamansu municipality of the Greater Accra region as an overflowing landfill site in the area continues to be used as a dumping ground for both fecal matter and solid waste. And as if the situation is not bad enough, there is fire still burning in the waste months after the site caught fire in August 2019 and was deemed to have been closed down. Also, an old landfill site that was decommissioned some years ago has been reopened, thereby worsening the situation. According to some residents of there is leachate, I believe. Leachate from the holding wells of the engineered site into nearby open drains in the community. Residents who spoke to the Daily Graphic on separate occasions expressed worry over the environmental consequences as the leachate gives a foul smell that overpowers the atmosphere.
Now, whilst we deal with all these issues, the banking sector reforms and the financial sector issues are still on. Now, there's an advertorial in the Ghanaian Times, page 20 and 21. Notice to all borrowers and loan defaulters. So, institutions have been published here and the account numbers with the CBG. So, if you owe any of these institutions, the account numbers have been published. You go to CBG to pay the money into those account numbers so that the receiver can also pay people who's customers of those particular institutions.
All right.
So if you owe any of the collapsed financial institutions, their new account numbers have been published.
Let me wrap up with global updates. So, for example, in the US, the Fed, which is the central bank, has slashed interest rates to 0. This is a massive intervention aimed at saving the US economy. That's the Washington Post. Now, if you go to CNN, majority of coronavirus cases are now outside China. That's a new one. And then if you go to BBC, New York City closes schools and bars over coronavirus. And then if you go to Nigeria, the lead story there is on suspected case of coronavirus is negative in Enugu, but there was a major accident after a pipeline explosion. 25 injured, 17 bodies updated. This is a big one. It's called the Abule Ado blast. That also took place. Other parts of the world, quickly. Kenya restricts foreign travel, suspends schools. So we are not the only country doing this. In fact, South Africa declares disaster and also closes schools, announces new measures, and Ghana has done same. We'll be walking you through some of the details of what has happened over the past couple of days throughout the program. Let's take a business break. We're getting business news at 7. We'll bring you the sport at 1:15. In the meantime, if you have any questions, send them to us. We'll be speaking to some experts throughout the day on what the implications of the new social distancing measures the president has put in place. What do they mean? What does social distancing actually mean? And how did countries that have had a reduction in the spread of the virus do it? I'll present the Hong Kong experiment, the Singapore example, and even the Taiwan example. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Charlie, check this.